construction industry, we're hearing so much about construction technology. And one of the changes that we've seen in this transformation is the introduction of all sorts of new technologies. Now, I think the construction industry's always had technology, but what we're seeing today is new technology that will help us build the environment and support the construction industry in areas of safety, design, efficiency. Well, our next guest speaker is a very good friend of mine, and I'd like to introduce you to Menno de Jonge. Menno is the co-founder and digital director of transformation advisory at Saudi Contact, and we've asked him just to give a brief overview of what he's seen in the construction industry sector for the introduction of these new technologies. Menno, thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you all for inviting me to present here about construction technology. I have to warn you, I'm not a landscape architect. I am a civil engineer and a building engineer, so I have a bit of a different background, but in essence, I think we are all in the same area. We're working on the built environment and trying to really do our best in this environment. So I would like to talk about technology for construction. So I am part of what we call Saudi Contact. And Saudi Contact is an organization that is really an innovative powerhouse in the construction industry. And we're focusing on digital transformation advisory, helping the industry and the Giga projects in Saudi to develop their digital transformation aspirations. A second pillar in our organization is really about an accelerator where we attract startups to the kingdom to open their business here and start developing their new technologies. And the third pillar is about community engagements where we organize events with the help of Phil and others to really preach about the story of digital and construction technology in the industry. I'll just use my friend back there for a clicker. Can I have the next slide, please? And the next. So in the construction industry, we have a number of very important statistics. Our industry contributes to about 30% of the global GDP, so it's a very important industry. Every SAR invested in construction delivers about 3 times as much economic activity. So think about what we talked about before. We need to operate and maintain our environments. So it's very important, a very important industry for the economy. By 2040, the output of the industry is expected to be $22 trillion. So a huge amount of money, which is an increase of 80%. And there's a lot of people, about 180 million people working in our industry. So a very important industry. But we also see a lot of challenges on the next slide. We see, can we go to the next slide, please? That, and this number has been presented before, 40% of the world energy has been used by the construction industry. And 40% of CO2 and 50% of our natural resources are used in our industry. So a very challenging nunk. Next, we see that 2/3 of the countries are reporting a labor shortage. So we have a shortage of people in our industry. The third one is really about our margins in the construction industry. They're often single-digit margins, and I use here the term the number 6%, but even in reality, it's often a lot lower. So very low profitability. And the last one is maybe the most astonishing one. Only a quarter of our projects are delivered on time and within their original financial targets. So industry which is not doing very well. Next slide, please. So if you look at the studies of McKinsey and other organizations, the construction industry is always seen at the bottom of these kind of graphs. Looking at digital transformation, looking at productivity, we are not doing very well. And on the next slide, you can see how we compare, and have the next slide, please, how we compare to the other industries. Here you can see a graph where we have on the horizontal axis our productivity growth, and on the vertical axis our digitization index. The construction industry is all the way down here, even below agriculture, forestry, fishing and hunting. So not very good. But I would like to talk to you that we are trying to repair this statistic and are making good progress in the industry. Can I have the next slide, please? So we want to transform from this environment, from this situation, a lot of labor, a lot of very traditional old-fashioned skills being used to, on the next slide, a situation where we deploy a lot of, can I have the next slide please, a lot of construction technology technologies. So a lot of IT, a lot of digital, using modular construction, industrialized construction, all these kind of technologies are being deployed in the industry. And I have the next slide, yes. So this is happening, this is being done at the moment. But to do this on a successful way, we need to deploy a number of strategies to make this happen. And on the next slide, I will slowly talk about how to move from a current situation to a full digital transformation project mode. So we have a lot of technology in the world that we can deploy. That's the easy part of things. But then we are going into our processes, and we need to re-engineer our processes. That becomes a little bit more difficult. And the last one is the most difficult part of the whole equation. We need to deploy change management in our industry. We need to train, we need to skill people to really use on these new technologies and new processes. I think some of the earlier speakers talked about the human side of things, which is a very important topic. So this slide is a build-up where I would like to talk about the whole life cycle digital twin approach in our industry. This is more a high-over way how we implement on these construction technologies in our organization. We have a digital cyber state and we have a physical state in our projects. So when we start our project, we start scanning the current situation using drone technologies, using laser scanning, where we scan the current situation. We then go into the design phase of our project, using digital technologies to design a new situation. We then simulate this design. We improve this design by using a lot of technologies like improving schedule, cost, sustainability, safety, logistics, etc., to really simulate this design and optimize the design and into what we call our digital master. Then we move into the physical state of our project. We start manufacturing our sub-assemblies and components as much as possible in factories. We then move these components to the construction site and we assemble them like a Lego or IKEA way of working into their end state. Then we have our digital twin available and we move into the very important operation and maintenance phase. So this is the whole life cycle of projects. During this whole life cycle, we create a lot of data, we create a lot of information, and all that information needs to be stored. And we do that in the center of this life cycle, in this circle, and we call that our digital construction engine. So we make it digital first. We start making it in a digital way before we make it in a physical way. We make it before we make it. That's the motto of the industry. So we use all these construction technology topics listed on this graph, and I will not mention all of them, but things like IoT, building information management, blockchain technologies, augmented or virtual reality, drones, digital twins, a lot of industrialized construction, all these technologies, we use them to improve the industry and to improve productivity and digitization of the industry. So to conclude this little presentation, I have a couple of success stories to show you that it's actually happening in the industry. So this is an example of using this digital model in our industry. And I think many of you have seen this kind of images before, but this is about 3D modeling and linking the 3D model to the planning, to the schedule. And we get these 4D models, where you can see how a project is growing over time. And this is still in the digital. We're in the cyber state of the process, as I showed before. So this is all the simulation, and we use these kind of models to really improve the schedule, to improve the free design state of the project to get this all right. This is a project in Rotterdam, in the Netherlands, high-rise building, which is a fully industrialized building. All the components that are used in this project are built in a factory, and they are then delivered to the construction site and as a Lego kind of system put together in their end state, as you can see here in this little 4D simulation. On the next slide, another example of how we deploy technologies. This is what we call the digital twin cave. I forgot to tell you that I have been working with NEOM for 2 years as their digital transformation director, deploying a lot of digital technologies in NEOM. This was one of them. We built what we called our digital twin cave. It is a 9 by 9 by 4.5 meter cube, which you can enter, and you can experience a design for example, an apartment in the line, which is not there yet, but you can really experience how the look and feel of such an apartment can be. And we could also use this twin cave to make changes to the design, to optimize the design, do furniture layout, etc., etc. Another topic we did in NEOM was 3D printing. We use robotic systems, gantry robotic systems and normal robotic systems to print assets like this villa that we did as a proof of concept. So a very beautiful looking villa that is currently being used as some of the housing accommodations for the employees that are working on getting NEOM in place. So a very interesting topic that we did there. Next one. We talked a lot about well-being, about mental health, well-being, and also about health and safety. This is a very good example of how to use technology to improve the life workers on a construction site. This is a Saudi-based tech organization that is delivering innovative hardware. It's a construction helmet with an IoT device that really tracks a worker on a construction site to improve the well-being of the worker, to really see if a worker is not too close to heavy, dangerous equipment and is in the right zone on a construction site. And can I have the previous, please? The last example I would like to show you. Previous slide, please. I can also start from the beginning if you want.
See, it's all big enough.
So the last slide I wanted to show you was an example of how we are moving in this industry to a completely industrialized way of working. It's really, you can compare it to the car industry or to the aerospace industry, where we completely work in factories. We move our construction work from an on-site situation to what we call an off-site situation. We build our components, for example, our walls and our flooring in a factory. And I'm not sure, I don't think there it is. On the site, you can see it now. You see this industrialized construction environment in a factory, and then these components are brought to site. And on the construction site, we can see that in about a day, a full house can be built. So really making progress in the industry with construction technology. So thank you for your attention.